Chapter 52 of The Bigger Picture. Jerry. We hadn't been in our new premises too long before we came aware of some really weird bangs and crashes and other strange happenings that didn't have a logical explanation, and usually happening when we were alone in the building. I should just explain that our space was above a garage showroom and we occupied half of the first floor. The other half was given over to offices, toilets and a kitchen. Above us was an extensive loft space. We got on really well with the guys in the showroom, but the woman in the offices was a bit standoffish. Although the guys in the showroom worked 7 days a week, they went home around 6 p.m, and the office staff were strictly 9 to 5, 5 days a week. We have plenty of time on our own in that building. One particular evening, as we was clearing up to go home, probably around 8 p.m-ish, so not particularly late, but it was winter, so it was dark outside. Jill was in the kitchen washing up cups when she suddenly came flying into our room, slammed the door shut behind her. She looked as white as a ghost. "Whatever's the matter?" I asked. "There's somebody there," she replied. "Can't be," I said. "We're alone in the building." Somebody stood right behind my shoulder and whispered, "Jilly," so loud in my right ear. "Well, who?" I asked. "I don't bloody know," she said. "I ran in here." Geez, what was that all about? She was really freaked out about that and wouldn't go in the kitchen on her own for ages. The next time we were alone in the building, we heard someone walking up the corridor. We went out to check, but there was no one in the building. Another time we were holding an event, so had quite a few people in our room. Everyone could hear the noise coming from the showroom downstairs. It sounded like chairs being scraped along the floor. Jill and I went to check and took one of the men with us. There was nobody there. A few months went by with similar stuff going on. It started to quieten down when it was just Jill and I in the building, but really kicked off when other people were with us. We held an evening of mediumship and our room was packed with people. The noises were relentless and everyone was getting a bit spooked. The medium for the evening, who was a good friend of ours, came to us during the break and asked if we were aware of someone in the building who had passed. We were. The owner of the garage had passed away several years earlier, and, in fact, our room used to be his office and boardroom. We could often sense him in the room with us and sometimes walking along the corridor. "No," she said. "This is someone else. A man. He's not happy with people being in his building. He's okay with you two now, but he didn't like it much at the beginning. He'll keep an eye on you, though, and warn you if he's not happy with the type of people you're bringing in." Bloody hell. Jill and I looked at each other, wide-eyed and mouths open. We have our resident ghost. A few weeks later, we were chatting to the managing director, and we just asked if there was someone who used to work there who had since passed, other than the managing director. He told us of Jerry. Jerry was the odd job man who had a learning difficulty, but he wasn't sure what. He said that Jerry could be an awkward sod and either liked you or didn't. If he didn't like you, then you knew it. Jerry. This was our ghost. Once we knew about Jerry, we got along quite well. He kept his noise disturbances down when He kept up his noise disturbances when there were other people in the building, but on the whole, he was fairly quiet with us. He did warn us about people though, and a couple of times we got close to trusting someone who wasn't right for us, and Jerry made his feelings known, loud and clear. His most spectacular intervention came just after Jill and I had been chatting about how nice it would be if the girls in the offices along the corridor were relocated to another area on site and we could take over the whole of upstairs. 2 days later we went in to find several workmen along the upstairs corridor and down in the showroom. One of the guys told us that the taps in the ladies' toilets had been left on overnight and had not only flooded the upstairs corridor, but had seeped into the showroom below. The taps were off when we left the previous evening, and the office staff had already gone home long before us. Strangely though, the water never got into our room. Was Jerry trying to clear the offices for us? We had a word with him, thanked him for trying to help us, but not to resort to anything quite as drastic again.